Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Arjun Chowdhury. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Friday, the 8th of May. 7 people, including foreign envoys, killed in helicopter crash in Gilgit Baltistan. Indian court suspends jail sentence of Bollywood actor Salman Khan. And father-daughter bond gets warm and wacky with Piku this weekend. And now for all the details. India's called the land boundary agreement with Bangladesh a historic deal. The bill, which aims at facilitating the exchange of enclaves on both sides of the border, was passed by the Indian Parliament on Thursday.
The 119th Amendment of the Indian Constitution to allow land swap between India and Bangladesh received the nod of the Parliament. While the Lok Sabha or the lower house passed the bill on Thursday, the Rajya Sabha or the upper house had approved it on Wednesday. Both the houses passed the bill unanimously. This will finally end nearly 40 years of deliberations and operationalize the 1974 India-Bangladesh land boundary agreement. India's ruling Bharatiya Janata Party said it was a landmark move.
This reflects the unanimous view of all the political parties and a strong urge to improve relations with all our neighbors. It's a historic development.
The passing of the bill was welcomed in Dhaka too. Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina called it a diplomatic success. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi had himself telephoned his Bangladeshi counterpart on Thursday to convey his greetings to Bangladeshis on the historic occasion. Many in the country felt that settling of the long-standing dispute will help in further strengthening the bilateral ties.
And this is not only the success of the relationship between India and Bangladesh, this is the success of the Sheikh Hasina's foreign policy as well, and also the foreign policy of Indian government. By passing this law in the Indian higher chamber of the parliament, the relationship between Bangladesh and India has been further strengthened, and our relationship has gone to a new height.
An enclave refers to the portion of a country that is entirely surrounded by the territory of another country. People living in the region were no less happy.
আমার মনে এতটুকু আনন্দ যে অতি তাড়াতাড়ি সরকার এটা কমপ্লিট করে দিলে আমরা যেন ছিটমহলবাসী একেবারে আনন্দে আত্মহারা হয়ে যাব। বাংলাদেশ সরকারের প্রতি কৃতজ্ঞতা জানাবো যে আমার বোধহয় মা জন্ম।
There are 111 Indian enclaves in Bangladesh spread over 6,880 hectares and 51 Bangladesh enclaves in India spread across 2,877 hectares. According to the agreement, India will get 1,124 hectares while Bangladesh will receive 917 hectares of land. This is expected to help an estimated 37,334 Indians and 14,215 Bangladeshis who live in the enclaves who had been for long facing lack of basic facilities due to the complicated nature of the boundary.
At least 7 people, including the ambassadors of Philippines and Norway, were killed in a helicopter crash in Gilgit Baltistan on Friday. The incident happened in Altar, some 23 miles north of Gilgit city. The helicopter, which crashed on an army school building, was one of 3 carrying a delegation of envoys to inspect projects in the region. While Philippines ambassador Domingo de Lucinaro and Norwegian envoy Leif H. Larsen, along with wives of Malaysian and Indonesian ambassadors, were confirmed dead, those injured included wives of Polish and Dutch ambassadors. Pakistan Army said the group comprised of 57 people, including 32 men, 20 women and 5 children. According to unconfirmed reports, the Tehreek-e-Taliban took responsibility for the incident. It, however, said the target was Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. A Mumbai court on Friday granted bail to Bollywood actor Salman Khan. While the surprise turn of events made his fans and supporters happy, it also left many questioning the decision. A report.
The High Court in Mumbai has suspended a 5-year sentence for Mr. Khan under a conviction in a deadly 2002 vehicle hit-and-run case. He will now be out on bail until the High Court decides whether to hear an appeal against a lower court judgment. On Wednesday, a trial court had sentenced the Bollywood star for killing a homeless man and wounding 3 others in the hit and run case.
आज न्यायालय में उनके जमानत की अर्जी पे सुनवाई हो गई और उनको 30,000 की जमानत दी गई है। उन्हें सेशंस कोर्ट में सरेंडर करना है और उसके बाद उनके जमानत की प्रोसेस शुरू होगी।
Mr. Khan remains a popular choice for Indian filmmakers. He has approximately 31 million US dollars riding on him with 7 films in the pipeline. Colleagues from the film industry have strongly rallied behind Mr. Khan. As well, fans took to social media to defend Mr. Khan, and close friends and family came to his home in Mumbai to show support.
एक मिस्टेक करती तो आदमी उसको एक मौका देता है, तो उसने एक मिस्टेक की तो उसने 1000 लोगों की मदद भी की ना, डोनेशन दिया, हेल्प भी किया, तो सबको देखना चाहिए.
But some have criticized the court decision to grant bail and suspend the lower court verdict.
जो सलमान खान को जो 5 साल की सजा हुई है वो कम से कम 10 साल की सजा उनको होनी चाहिए थी. प्रोटेस्ट नहीं कर रहे, हम अपने अधिकारों को बताने के लिए आए हैं कि हमारा भी हक है. हम सड़क पे रहते हैं तो हमें भी जीने का अधिकार है, तो हम अपने हक को जताने के लिए आए हैं.
Mr. Khan's fate will now be decided by the higher court. The appeal process is expected to be slow and give the actor several years of reprieve from jail.
Pakistan has nearly 2 million internally displaced persons or IDPs, a new report has claimed. The latest figures are attributed to the increasing insurgency and counter-militancy operations in the tribal areas of Pakistan.
According to the report released by the Internal Displacement Monitoring Center or IDMC, Pakistan accounted for 46% of over 4 million people displaced by conflict and violence in South Asia in 2014. The report by the Norwegian Refugee Council claimed that the number of IDPs increased from at least 746,000 to 1.9 million after violence intensified in the region. Around 907,000 people were forced to flee their homes in 2014 compared to 140,000 in 2013. The surge in the number of IDPs is a result of the massive counter-terrorism offensive operation Zarb-e-Azb that was launched by Pakistan government in June last year. Majority of the displacement are reported to be from the mountainous tribal belt along the Afghan border, mainly regions of Khyber Agency, North Waziristan and South Waziristan, where Pakistani military is battling the Taliban. The Nawaz Sharif government, however, began sending back the IDPs in February this year after it claimed of clearing the areas of militants. While repatriation in South Waziristan is said to be completed, IDPs are still continuing to return in North Waziristan and Khyber Agency. Fatah Disaster Management Authority claimed that around 20,000 displaced families had been sent back to their homes so far in Khyber Agency, and 230 families have returned to North Waziristan after repatriation to these two places began in March.
Sri Lanka will soon have a domestic mechanism to look into human rights violations and reconciliation with the Tamil minority. Foreign Minister Mangala Samaravira has said this comes as the island nation faces a UN-monitored probe into crimes committed by the Lankan army during the country's civil war.
The new domestic mechanism comprising foreign technical expertise will be put in place before September ahead of the 30th session of the UNHRC, Foreign Minister Mangala Samaravira has said. His statement also comes days after the visit of US Secretary of State John Kerry to Colombo. Kerry, during his visit, had welcomed the new government's efforts and said true reconciliation in the country would take time. President Maithripala Sirisena's government, which assumed office in January, had pledged a credible domestic mechanism to look into rights violations committed by the Lankan army. The previous government, led by Mahinda Rajapaksa, had repeatedly failed to initiate a credible investigation despite global pressure. This had led to the UN announcing an international probe in March last year. The UNHRC had in February deferred the filing of its findings till September for what it called a stronger report. According to the UN and other international rights organizations, up to 40,000 Tamil civilians were killed in the final 3 months of civil war in 2009.
While Nepal is trying to come to terms with the loss incurred after the massive earthquake, residents of the Himalayan nation are facing an acute water crisis. Most of Nepal's infrastructure was flattened within seconds of the catastrophe.
Almost a fortnight after the 7.8 magnitude earthquake turned Nepal into a heap of rubble, the country is facing extreme shortage of water. While most of the pipelines have been severely damaged, huge piles of debris are obstructing the movement of water. Shortfall of supply trucks has also aggravated the problem. For residents of capital Kathmandu, one of the worst hit cities, tankers are the only source of water, but it cannot reach everywhere due to broken roads.
हमारा भरोसा तो यही टैंकर वाला का ही भरोसा है,
लेकिन टैंक की कमी है, वो भी पानी नहीं पहुंचा पा रहे हैं।
हाँ, ये पहला तो सिचुएशन नहीं था, जब ये भूकंप आया तब से ऐसा सिचुएशन हो रहा है। पानी का तो ठीक ही है अभी तक। बाकी सारे इलाके में जहाँ भी रास्ता है, जहाँ भी रास्ता साफ है, वहाँ तो टैंकर पहुँचा रहा है।
According to the government records, the 80% of the population often gets polluted water. The scarcity is particularly high in rural areas where people have to trudge long distance to fetch drinkable water.
It was already a crisis here in Kathmandu to get water, but now it's because of the earthquake, it's very bad. So it's very bad to get water.
The April 25th earthquake, which killed nearly 8,000 people and injured over 16,000, has posed various challenges to the nation. Nepal is now gearing up for reconstruction and rehabilitation amid looming grievances.
After tackling enough into romances between lead actors, Bollywood this weekend delves into a refreshing affair between a father and a daughter. Let's take a look at how this eccentric relationship unfolds on screen.
मेरे समझ में नहीं आ रहा कि बेकार में इमोशनल होके फंस तो नहीं गया मैं ये चिक के बाप बेटी के बीच में.
A cranky father and an independent, arrogant daughter. Piku, which opens this weekend, unwraps a flamboyant love-hate relationship between actors Amitabh Bachchan and Deepika Padukone.
You know वो मेरे ऊपर dependent है. तो अगर किसी को मुझसे शादी करनी है तो
तुम्हारे 90 साल के बच्चे को साथ में अडॉप्ट करना पड़ेगा.
And adding sanity to the hula-boo lives of this family is Salman Khan, who is reeling under the onslaught of the duo. The cast of the film, along with director Shujit Sarkar, talked about why it was an endearing tale every middle-class Indian family would relate to.
जी ऐसा सुनने में आ रहा है, हालांकि मैं
बहुत एक्शन और कॉमेडी आ चुकी है, ऐसी मूवी आई नहीं थी अब तक.
मुझे इसका ज़्यादा ध्यान नहीं है, ना ही मुझे इसका ज्ञान है, लेकिन अगर आप कह रहे हैं ऐसा सोच रहे हैं तो अच्छा ही है. इसमें पूरा परिवार जाए देखने.
Piku has Bachchan and Padukone playing a Bengali family. While the father spends his days obsessing over his bowel movements, the daughter tries to multitask between the household and her career. Padukone, who plays the title role of Piku, said her character represented every contemporary Indian woman.
Hello, Piku.
Hi. I think for me, being Piku is a character that's very, very, very relatable. Piku as a character. And then, of course, there's the situations within the film that you'll see that I think every one of us will identify with, especially for girls who are working, you know, who also have parents, you know, you want to take care of them.
Khan, who plays a cab service owner, said his character brings dimensions to the father-daughter relationship.
इस फैमिली के साथ जो मेरा सफ़र है बहुत चैलेंजिंग सफ़र था. उसके अपनी खूबसूरती है, उसके अपने चैलेंजेस थे, बट लाइफ चेंजिंग जर्नी है ये राणा का पीकू की फैमिली के साथ. मतलब अब इसकी लाइफ जो ये घर से निकला है इनको लेके, अब जब वापस लौटेगा तो ये कभी उसकी ज़िंदगी वो नहीं होगी जो थी.
The film is a quirky take on a deeply layered relationship between widower Bhaskar Banerjee and his daughter Piku that borders on the dysfunctional. Caught between the two is Rana, who, as the baffled outsider in the course of a road trip which threatens to run off the rails, gives both of them perspectives that promises to deliver them from the stalemate they are trapped in.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. 7 people, including foreign envoys, killed in helicopter crash in Gilgit Baltistan. Indian court suspends jail sentence of Bollywood actor Salman Khan. And father-daughter bond gets warm and wacky with Piku this weekend. Now viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time next week. Have a great weekend and good night.